Good morning, everyone. Let's get started with our seminar. Uh, First of all, people on the Hangout, am I audible and my screen is visible? Hello. Okay, so let's get started with the our seminar. Before making any introduction to the AngularJS or myself, first I'd like to tell something about how it all started. As you all know, like we are having a No More initiative, and this AngularJS is one of my topic from that one. So I have started learning and I'm still learning, and I have enough knowledge to share on the fundamentals, and that is why this seminar is planned. Also, I will be taking few more seminars so that from the fundamentals we will see how we can actually create a large high scalable application using AngularJS or with some server side technology. So let's get started with our topic, AngularJS fundamentals. About myself, I am Ankit Kumar, working with Mindfire Solution for around 3+ years. I am having few certification from Microsoft on database, HTML5 and MVC development. My skills are written here. You can connect me on Twitter, LinkedIn or Google Plus, or you can contact me on my email or my Skype. Uh, Actually, the picture on the slide is much older, like 8 or 9 months before. So that is a to-do list. I promise you that in my next seminar it will be updated. So coming to the agenda of the seminar, we will be discussing about introduction to AngularJS. Then we will see why should we go for AngularJS, where now we are having so much of other frameworks and library available in the market. And then we will talk about some fundamentals of Angular, like directives, controller, scope, services, dependency injection, and demo and resources will be is in the last point, but we will be seeing demo throughout the presentation. There are much more topics related to the fundamental only, but we won't be covering all those. We will be covering only those which are present in this slide. So introduction to AngularJS. The first line what is written here is from the wiki page of the AngularJS, which says that it is an open source application maintained by Google and community, and it assists with creating single page application. Nowadays single page applications are coming into demand because it is highly responsive, fast, and it gives a feel like we are playing with a desktop application, not with the typical web application. And so we have official site of the AngularJS, which is this one, and there you can go and download the AngularJS file. Once you will click, you will get option for the stable version or the latest version. If you want to work with cutting edge technology and the new implementation, you can go for the latest one or the 1.3x, and you can download it. I have already downloaded it, so I won't be downloading it again. And it helps us in creating rich and responsive website. We will see how. It is 100% JavaScript and 100% client side. Also, I have already said that it is much popular with single page application. We won't be discussing much about single page application in this seminar, and we won't be making any such application today, but in later seminar, yes. And it can be used with almost all server side languages. So there is a plus point irrespective of your technology or the server side technology, you can work with Angular JS. Now the question is, why Angular? We already have JavaScript and jQuery, right? So it's a pretty genuine question to ask, like, why we should go for another framework when we have JavaScript and jQuery. And in spite of that, we already have so many of libraries and framework in available, like Knockout, we have Ember, we have, and lots many more. So to clarify this, we will be checking few examples so that we can just understand how Angular is much better than JavaScript and jQuery, and later we will see that why we should go for Angular framework instead of other framework. Okay, so this one is the first example. If you are unable to see the screen, I am increasing the font size. I hope this is visible now, right? Okay, so we have a small JS fiddle where we are trying to achieve one functionality. We will enter the name, and whatever the name we will be entering, it will be displayed in the side of hello that you have seen. So as I am typing something, it will be reflected. Now let's take a look on the code. We are having simple JavaScript, nothing else. We have input box where we have attached an event on key update output this, and we have update output element function where we are getting the output element by its ID, and then we are updating the HTML. So it's okay, we have achieved our requirement, but the problem with this is that the input which we have used, it knows like which behavior to execute on key function, and the update output function knows like which element it needs to modify. So we can say that it's a high coupling kind of thing between the JS code and the HTML markup. The problem will be like if we change any of the selector name, it won't work, and it's not advisable to use high coupling in our application. So to use to make it a little better, we have used JavaScript, and we are doing the same thing. Whatever we will type, it will be reflected here. And in this, what we have done, that we have directly selected the ID, and we are binding the input function in that one, and then we are displaying the output. It is pretty much simple. Now it looks good, and it is better than the last one, but only problem we see is that we are manipulating the DOM elements for the data, and if our application become largest, so it will be like we will be mugging up with our markup languages in the HTML section, and the code will go on. So wouldn't it be better if we have something on which we work with the data, and the view or the HTML gets updated itself? So keeping all this thing in the mind, we have the same example using Angular JS. So what we have done, we have some divs, and we have some attributes over there, tags, and we have model, ng model, where we are having name, and then we are displaying name. So just look at it, that we are able to achieve the same functionality without writing any single line of JavaScript code. We will come back to this example later, and we will understand what all it is, like ng app, and then my app, and all these things, ng model and the curly braces, double curly braces where we have written name. So we will come to this later. First, for the time, let's get back to our slide. So we have seen that we are writing less in Angular, and Angular is able to manage code for us. Sorry. Okay. So it's a better choice to create dynamic website with AngularJS, and we can manage our JavaScript well. It will help in making our site responsive and fast, and it supports all feature of single page application, which is a plus point for the Angular on other framework or the libraries that we are having. Recently I had come across another framework like Knockout. It was good for data binding. It also provides two-way data binding, and it uses some MVVM model for its for displaying data and manipulating the logic. But when I dig into that, I found that there is nothing you can track history using Knockout. You need to have some other JavaScript library like history.js or sami.js to keep track of a history, which will be helpful in single page application, because we are appending hash in the URL and then our view loaded. So single page application is like we have a page and we will be we are loading just a single section or the view in the page. Page is already loaded in the browser, and then we are making request to load the view or the section of the page. Now here is the I will not say is the complete list of AngularJS what features it provides, but it is most of that is included. First is data binding. We will see how that works. MVC, it provides model view controller concept in our application. It helps us with routing. We won't be covering routing in this seminar. It also it is easy to test application in AngularJS. We won't be covering this one too. jQuery is the subset of jQuery which Angular uses to interact with the DOM elements. Templates, history also we won't be covering. Validation also we won't be covering. Dependency injection we will be covering in this seminar. So here is the small list of the Angular features that it provides. In next seminar we will include a few more. Now let's look at the typical web request and what happens when a user clicks on the browser or page or makes a request to the server. So for the very first time we have the web server and the web browser. User is sitting at this end and he is making a request. So the URL request goes to the server, and response come with the web page and the assets like the other library or whatever is included in the application, and the entire page loads. So it is the page load time that we are seeing that whenever we are clicking the website, and it takes some time to load. Now what happens when we click on any link present in the page, at that time it makes a new request to the server, and then the new request is processed and the response is sent back to the web browser again, and then the markup is displayed on the HTML page. So this is what is happening, and this is not that much responsive that Angular will help to achieve. Now if we want to make it responsive, so here is the modified version, or what Angular uses is whenever we make the first request, it will get the entire content and or the HTML, and it will load in your browser. But whenever you are clicking a link, it will send a request which will fetch the JSON data and put back into the HTML page which is already loaded in the browser. So we are not receiving the whole page and the asset, and to render that will render again in the browser. We have the page already rendered in the browser, and we are just pushing or updating the data that is available from the response. So, in this way Angular helps in making our website faster. Now, getting started with Angular, what you should know and what you all need. You should know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I hope everyone is familiar with all these three. And what you all need? Angular, yes, that's all. An editor of your choice. You can use online editor, offline editor, or some fancy editor like Visual Studio that I am using. So, let's try this out and see. I hope the connection didn't go the way. So, from the Angular site, I have already downloaded the minified version of the Angular JS, and I am creating a new folder. I will name it as my demo, and I will put this Angular file in the folder. Then I will add a new file, text document, name it as index.html. Yes, and I am using Notepad++, one of our favorite editor, and then I have some code. Now it looks like a HTML page, and we will add the reference. Div ng app, that should be okay to get started with it. And I will be using double curly braces to evaluate something. Now let's see if that works. Okay, coming back to the source, means what I have done, that I have included the Angular min.js. I put it is visible, right? And then I have given a div tag ng-app, and then I have started writing expression. These double curly braces are used to write expression which helps for data binding and putting dynamic content into the HTML. So, we can see that I have written 4 plus 2, and the output on the page is 6. So, which means that everything is fine, and we can go ahead and start working with Angular JS. So, yes, ng-app. No, ng-app is a directive. I haven't started talking about that one. So, div is actually, it says that this section will be the Angular section in the application. Okay, we will see this. I have included it in a later slide, like how it works, means how Angular loads and how this page is exactly executing in the web page, and how everything is working. Now, one more thing that we need to know, that whenever we are writing ng-app, so it for some of the validators it might not be the correct format, and it may give you the validation error. To correct that one, you can use data in the beginning. It doesn't matter what you use, Means this is for the validation purpose, and you can use this one too. Also, if you want, you can use this one. Whatever you will be using, what happens that when it runs, it remove this whatever the delimiter we have given and convert this app to something like ng app. So this is quite fundamental. We will be using this syntax, but in the controllers we will be using ng controller, but we will be writing as ng hyphen controller. So we will go in more details for this one. For the time, that binding example that I have shown you, that what are other options we have. See, we have ng app, similarly we have ng bind, then we have put semicolon, we have underscore, then we have data hyphen ng bind, then we have x ng bind. So it doesn't matter what you use, it will be evaluated as ng, then capital B, the camel case what we refer as. So this is something Angular does when it runs the application, but ideally we should use this one, data hyphen ng, this syntax, or simple ng hyphen data bind. These are the preferred way, and everywhere you will find this, this syntax only, and other are supported till now, but it will be depreciated in the later versions. So till now we have seen like how we can get started with Angular. Now once we will start discussing directives and how Angular loads, then we will come back to that our first example, and we will see like how exactly everything was working behind the scene. So once I started learning Angular JS, so it was very hard to identify like what all are the components in which Angular can be classified. So I had gone through an article that was written by ng means Angular guys on the newsletter. So there they describe the components in the 5 major components. One is directive, another one is controller, then scopes, services, and dependency injection. So first one is the directive. So till now that ng app we have seen is a directive, and that is provided by Angular. Directives are nothing but the function that we run on a DOM element to give it some additional functionality. And sorry, we have HTML tags like li, ui, HTML body tags. What if we want to create some tags related to our application, like I am having an application for weather, and which will display weather information depending upon your location. So and I want to have some tags based upon weather or location, so we can create it too in our application. What is the plus point with this is that whenever your markup will be rendered in the web page, by seeing the markup you should be able to visualize that what application is doing. So normally when you open a web page and go to the source, so it is always HTML divs and all other things. Then Angular provides custom directives, or you can create your own directive based upon your needs. Some of the links are not visible on the screen here, but it is there. You can it is totally not visible. So one link is for the built-in directive that is provided by the Angular, and another is for the custom directives that you can create based upon your requirement. See, and this that link leads to the documentation of the AngularJS. It is and from the same site. You can go to the developers guide and API references for more details. And then we can have custom directives also based upon our requirement. We will see in our next seminar like how we can create custom directive and add it in our application based upon our need. And then we have something called expression that helps us in inserting dynamic value or helps in data binding, like we have evaluated 2 plus 4. Now, before we go further, let us have an overall idea how Angular works. So, the moment I have referred the AngularJS in my script in the head section of the HTML page, it attaches an event called DOM content loaded, which runs after the page is loaded. Now, when the page is loaded, that event will run, and what it do, that its aim is to find ng app directive. Now, the moment it finds a ng app directive in the page, that means it identifies that as the Angular application or the Angular section, and the controls will be loaded for that directive, means wherever we have used that one. See, I have used that one inside the div, and but we can use that in the head tag, HTML tag also. So, if we are including in the HTML tag, that means that whole the page is an Angular application and everything will be loaded, but I have included that inside a div. So, whatever you want to work with Angular, that should be written inside that div. If you are writing something outside that div or the section, Angular won't recognize it and it will be displayed as nothing was there, or the simple binding syntax that you have written, that will be displayed. What is the plus point with this one is, like, you can have other frameworks also in your application if you want to use, like you want some other application to display some other data in your application, or maybe that is a client constraint. So, you can use that one also apart from the Angular framework. With that one, now we have that div is loaded for the Angular application. So, we can create modules that will be applicable to same div where that will be referred. It helps in modularizing your code, means with time your code will become bigger, and definitely you do not want to put everything inside a single script file or a single page. So, at that time it will be helpful. So, now we are going back to our previous example for a better understanding, like what was happening on behind the scene. See, I have told that this is wherever the ng app directive is found, that will be loaded. If I will put it outside, this div is closed here. See, the first one is evaluated, but the second one appear as I had written in the page. It means that only this section was evaluated, not this one, because we have defined the ng app attribute on the div. But if we move it to HTML and say that my whole page is Angular application, then it is evaluated also. Then I would like to go back to one more example that we had seen in the JS Fiddle. right. See, here we have written div ng app equal to my app, and then we have written input type equal to text, ng model equal to name. So, ng model is a built-in directive which provides two-way data binding between the model and the view. So, and we have app defined over. The moment we reference Angular in our application, we can use Angular function to create modules, and we have given this name as app. So, var app equal to, this is the syntax you need to follow while creating any module, and this is applicable to ng app my app. What happen if I will move it to other section and put it here, then in the same way we can have another div my app 2, see now we have two different div with two different app. So, we can have different modules for different section in our page. That is what I am trying to which will help in separating your sections in your page. Now, coming back to our slide, directive we have seen. Okay. So, just now I was talking about the modules. So, the content pieces of our Angular application means the now as we have defined the app, we can create controllers like app dot controller. Then we can proceed. So, here in the module we can define variables and functions that will be used by that that section where we will be referring that in the HTML page. What it helps in, it makes our code maintainable, readable and testable, and we can define dependency in the project. So, this syntax okay, come back this one. Angular dot module my app is the name, and here is a braces where I haven't defined anything. This is used for dependency injection, which tells like what all are dependency for this modules. If we have currently we don't have, but with increase in functionality, our modules will may become larger, and we may need to separate our modules for different functionality. We will see it in later example how we can means separate our modules based upon the functionality, and how we can make dependency injection there. So, there, and this is the name. It is having a getter and setter. So, we are setting it here, we are getting it here. We are when we are defining the var app equal to Angular module, then we are setting that one, and with that we can run specific modules in the page whenever it is loaded. Now, coming to the controller, controllers are the core function, means core of the application where we write our application logic. Then what it helps in? It helps in organize functionality around the DOM elements, and we define our variables and functions inside the controller, so that it can be used in the HTML page. So, here is the format for defining controller. App we have already defined, then app dot controller name. Many person is having habit of writing CTRL, but it's better to use the whole syntax. So whatever will be your name, like web controller or the login controller, then means based upon the function you need to attach controller in the end, and then
you have defined modules, and after that on that module you have added controller. So without defining modules, can you write the controller?
definitely you can write controller without defining module, but that will be like injecting directly into the application. That is doable, but not is not preferred. I will share a separate example for that one after the seminar. Now we are having scope, which is very important because it acts as a glue between our view and the model. Right. So it acts as a view model. It is the scopes which are provided by the Angular. They are mainly responsible for observing changes which are happening in the model or the view. Well, if it is a one-way data binding, it will be you will bind it once, like we are doing iterating through a list of object or array objects. And if it is a two-way data binding, means whatever the changes you will be doing, it will be reflecting back into the model. Then the scopes are the responsible. Scopes are the one who is responsible for what is it? Okay, so it observes the changes. Then in Angular we have many scopes, like root scope is at top, which and followed by dollar scope. When we are using scopes, we should be careful, especially while using root scope, which is at the top, means a global variable kind of thing. So if we keep ending with multiple variables, then it will create conflict in the child scopes when we are using. We can also use this JavaScript to reference the current object to limit scope inside a controller. And so links are totally not coming. Okay, so here is the HTML section where we have div ng app equal to scope example, and then we have a controller ng controller equal to my controller. You can give it a name also, ng my controller as scope, then scopes better to write. Then we can use scope dot say hello or scope dot username. ng controller is also adaptive, and there we define. See what I was telling you, that whatever we are defining, that is in the syntax of ng hyphen controller. So for today I am using the same syntax, and then we have input type equal to text, and then ng model. ng model provides two-way data binding, username, and then we have a button where ng click is attached to say hello function, and we have a text grid. Coming to the JavaScript section, we have defined scope module, and then we have a controller, and then we are injecting the scope inside the controller. This is something called dependency injection. Then we have scope dot username equal to world. So when the page is loaded, first you can see the world is here, and scope dot say hello function says that greetings will be hello dot hello plus scope dot username. So hello Mindfire and click on git, it will print up the same. Now coming to the next section, till now what we have seen, before going any further, till now we have almost seen like just the fundamentals for creating Angular application, how we can get started with it, what are directives, how we can use it, how we can get started with it, and we have some directives also to play with. And then it is almost related to the front end, whatever we are doing it, but in the application we must be interacting with the backend or the database or some API to fetch the actual data. Every time we cannot hard code everything and display in the UI. So to overcome all this, we have services in Angular application. Services give additional functionality to controller, like we need to fetch some data using $HTTP. These are predefined services. We can create our own if we need, but for the time we will be using that what is already provided. Then when we are having services like $HTTP, it uses promises and callbacks, like the AJAX function that we are doing. On we call AJAX function, and on success we have some function written there to update the DOM element. Then we have other services like $log and $cookie, $filter, and built-in services which starts with $symbol. If needed, we can write our own services too. Now we will see its demo a little later, but first coming to the last section, dependency injection. So as we have already seen that whenever we are defining our modules, so there we have an option to define all the dependency. What happens when the Angular loads, then it has something called injector. So with injector, every registered services are loaded also in the application. Now a module is dependent upon let's say 2 of the services, then it says it makes a request to the injector that I will need these 2 services for running myself, and at the time when that module runs, injector execute those services and pass the data to the modules, so that the dependency for that module should be resolved before it starts executing. I hope that is enough to get an overall idea how dependency injection works. It also helps in modularizing our code. How? Let's suppose we are having some API to deal with some currency rates, right? And on based on that currency rate, we need to we want to display some data to the user, or we want to manipulate some data in the UI. So we can separate that API to get currency conversion into a different section or the services. We can create it, and in the module we can say that I in the dependency in the braces that this is needed by the Angular which will be executing, Angular module that will be executing. So before the module will be executed, that service will be loaded, and it makes async call. So the data will appear on the screen as the success function will be called back. So that is all, but we have few demo to see the last 2 sections like services and dependency injection. Okay, if you are not aware of Plunker, it is like an online editor where you can create your plunks online and you can edit it. You can add many files as much you want. New files, you have an option here. So let me run it. Okay, this is a simple page, like the most basic. This example is from the Angular documentation, Angular guide section. So this is a simple page where we do not have anything in the background, means everything is present here. We do not have any other file. We have referenced the Angular JS file. Then we have ng app and ng init. Ng init is a expression which helps in initializing some variables. So here we have initialized qty quantity and cost equal to 2. Then we have input type equal to number and ng model. Remember that ng model is used for two-way data binding, and then again we have ng model cost, and then we are displaying total total quantity into cost. Then we have a pipe symbol. This pipe symbol is used as a filter in Angular JS. So what it does, that it formats the data based upon the filter that you will be provided. So it's currently converting into currency, so that it is 2.0. Ideally it should be 1 into 2, right? So what I am saying, that if we remove it, okay, it's 2, and we do not have any dollar symbol also, but now we are using currency as a filter, so it's updated to $2.0. It is taking up to 2 decimal point, whatever your value will be. It is a good idea to display your data into a particular format. Let's suppose if you have 1.59 and 2 in a list, so it is much better to display all the data in a same format. So for that we can use filters. There is nothing in it. We are trying to multiply the cost and quantity, and we are displaying it. Now coming to the second example, run it. So what we have done here, we have added some extra functionality, and we have a separate JS file for the same, right. So it's a module invoice1, and it is having a controller, invoice controller, where we are having variables like quantity, cost, in currency, currency, then USD to foreign rates data array where rates are defined, and then we are having few functions like total and convert currency, and then we have function for pay, which will display a message thanks. In the index file it is almost the same. We have ng app and ng controller, means that controller will be run in this div. We can have multiple controllers inside a particular module, and we can run it on different div based upon our requirement. Suppose if we have invoice controller, if we have payment controller, so we can run it in a different div. ng controller and invoice controller as invoice. So invoice is a alias for the controller name, invoice controller name. Then we have same thing, ng model, and then cost is same here. Then the option for the cost, for the currency is in a drop down. So, for iterating data over the data, whatever we have in the currencies USD, UR, CNY, and this means the array of the data, we are having ng repeat. Okay. We are having ng repeat. Ng repeat C is the variable name, in invoice our controller name, and the currency is defined here. So, it will iterate to that list and it will display all the currency list there. And similarly, we are having ng repeat for other currency option to display. Now, if we are going to run it, we will display almost the same thing, where we are having, when we will update it, our quantity will be updated in different dollars, and we can change our currency also. So, what changes here is that we have a simple page. From there we are trying to add some functionality, and we make it a little modular. We have all thing in one page. Now, we have separated that into two pages, means we have index.html and we have a separate file for the Angular functions. Now, coming to the third one. So, as you can see, the output is almost similar and the markup is also similar. What we had in the last one, it is almost same. But if you have noticed that we have two source file here, finance 2 and invoice 2. So, finance 2, we have the currency conversion, we have pulled it out of the invoice JS and made it a different module. Now, we are in the invoice, we do not have that currency conversion, but we are having this dependency on the currency converter module. So, we are saying that this module invoice controller is dependent on currency converter module, and which is defined here. So, it is just that we are taking the functionality and we are wrapping with the module, so that we can refer it in our application, and this is dependency injection in Angular, and in the index it is almost the same, nothing changes, only that we had made it a little more modular. So, while creating a web application, you can see, like, as per our requirement, we can make it more modular and maintainable. If we will keep putting everything inside one file, it will be clumsy and hard to maintain. Then we have one more example. It is almost the same, but there are little change. Here we are having the same thing, invoice 3 controller, which is same, just the name has different, but the finance controller has changed to use services from Yahoo API to get the currency rates. So, we have separated the currency conversion totally into a separate file, and now we are using HTTP service to get the value. This section here URL is defined, then we are creating the URL and replacing other thing. We have other function as the same, and then we are calling the API URL with $HTTP, which expect a JSON P data, and we have a success function attached to it. Once the API has returned the response, it traces to the data and put it into the USD to foreign exchange rate array. So, what happens when you are running it for the first time? You can see that the total is loaded a little later than other things, because it is the time taken by the API to fetch the data and process it, and as it is asynchronous, the UI does not wait for the data to update it. When the data comes back from the API, it is updated in the model. So, this is how we can make it more scalable, and we can use it Angular for developing our web application. In our next seminar, we will be going deep into the bindings, data, fetching data, updating data, like creating almost application kind of thing. So, that's all for today, but before going, okay, so none of the links are visible here. If you want to learn Angular.js, there are a few great places where you can start learning. First one is Code School. You can create a free account and you can watch the videos as well as the tutorial. You have challenges along with the videos, so you will be coding while watching the videos. Then we have something very important, like the documentation from the Angular. So, you can go to the introduction and all the things are mentioned here. I have picked up few things from here, like directives, controller, services, dependent injection. So, we will be taking few more in the next seminar, and we will try to create a web application which will be updating data and other things. Then we are having few newsletter. We are having Pluralsight courses for learning. That is also great. You can log in, and there are lots of topics you can choose based upon your existing skill. Apart from this, there are few from the newsletter from Angulars, which will help you to learn Angular.js. So, that's it. I will end my seminar. Any questions on Angular? Second example using JavaScript. Sorry? Okay, the Plunker one. Okay. Okay, so here it is. It is the index file, and this one is the script file. Sorry? Yes, we are inside this invoice control. We are creating an anonymous function. So, this is for the controller when it will be created, that instance. For that one, it will this quantity cost that will be created. We can see in the previous example we had injected a scope, but that is not a best way or the correct way to use the controller in the application. This is much more preferable and usable. Yes.
This will be direct associated with the controller, and quantity, cost, and interval will be associated with the controller. Whereas $group, it would be attached to that to your HTML.
Yes, so whatever the changes that you will be doing, that will be observed by the scopes.
Yeah, that will be observed.
Then
So I'm asking is, like he asked that what is that this sort of quantity will be over here. You are associating with the controller using this
Yes.
I can associate it with dollar scope object.
Yes, you can use it. I am not saying that you cannot use it. I am saying that it is more preferable. I also need to find the answer why, but it is more preferable what I have learned it, and I am still learning. So, with your question, I may get back to you later.
Yeah, if I find that this upper section and there is also this before that told you the color is different. So
This we are defining functions, so that is why this is the something Plunker is using. So that is why this color difference. Yes, definitely it's possible. Now, as I have told that these examples are from the documentation section. So I will be sharing and updating the links also. So once you will get the slide, you will have all the examples. So thank you everyone for your time. And you can connect us on our pages. Thank you.